So what is femininity? What is it to you? Femininity is often related to qualities like grace, nurturing, gentleness, but it's so much more. There are so many more elements that go into femininity. And I think what we're really thinking about as we start digging into this topic is how does it relate to your personal style? And how do you even go about creating something, a look or a persona about yourself that screams femininity? Well, there are a few kind of ways that you can do that. And obviously, a lot of it comes from how you feel about yourself, your relationship with yourself. When you feel good about yourself and you don't feel like you're having to prove anything, it's a lot more gentle, soft approach, which is essentially a feminine approach. If you think about how it relates to how you interact with other people, I always consider femininity and how mine shows up more is when I kind of lean in. If you imagine somebody telling you a story, somebody talking to you about something that's really important, or maybe sharing something that's been a struggle for them. Maybe it's a challenge that they're facing, or maybe they just need somebody to hear them. It's that time when you know that all that really matters is right now, right here where you are, where you're willing to not be thinking about what else you needed to be doing, how many things you've got on your to-do list, but just being able to lean in to that person and be completely present. That to me is femininity. That is embracing your divine feminine, which is the highest, most authentic version of yourself. And when you start embracing that most authentic version of yourself, you show up differently. You show up differently for yourself because you know you're important and you show up for yourself. You give yourself the grace and the time to show up however you need to. Whatever it is that you're experiencing, you allow yourself to show up that way. You may be allowing yourself to experience emotions. And as women, you know, there are plenty of times when we have so many different emotions that we might need to experience them and let them kind of flow through our bodies, because as we stuff them down, that's when disease gets started. If you're in a moment where you feel like you are not allowing yourself to feel anything, or you avoid something, chances are you're stuffing it down, and that needs to be moved out at some point from your body. So allowing yourself to experience all the different flavors of yourself. Like for a long time, I avoided feeling angry. I didn't think it was a good emotion. I had been told many times that I was always angry, and it was almost like a shameful thing. And so what I started to do is to tell myself it wasn't okay to let anybody see me get in that place of being angry. And so sometimes what I would do is I would hide that, and I would only experience it when I was at home. Well, you can imagine that doesn't go over very well, only showing it at home or letting that anger kind of come out. But I had created this story in my mind that anger was a really bad emotion. And what I've learned to do is to accept all of the emotions that I have. Now, it doesn't mean that I get to take them out on other people. It just means that I let myself experience them. I didn't like feeling sad. Sadness was a really hard one for me. Like I always felt like, as we have this phrase in England, put your big girl pants on and go deal with it, right? So I always thought, go and get it handled, like take action. And that would be how I would avoid feeling sad or hurt. I even would tell my kids when they were little, if they would be crying or something would show up, I'd be like, go rub some dirt in it. Well, you can imagine, I mean, I know I have all boys, but you can imagine really what they need is for somebody to just be there fully present with them and sit with them and let them experience that feeling of hurt or sadness, especially if it's an emotional sadness or hurt. So learning to express and feel all of the different emotions and experience all of the different flavors and colors of myself, regardless of what they were. So how do you think this relates to your style? Well, your personal interpretation of what femininity is reflected, or it can be, in your wardrobe. And what I realized is the more I started tapping into my femininity, the more I felt comfortable, or the more empowered I felt when I was wearing something. So I feel like my femininity is not necessarily the kind that's like the fairy tale kind of femininity. There's still a little bit of an edge of classic elegance and class and almost fierceness in my femininity. Now, I have noticed the more I kind of tap into it, the more I allow myself to kind of feel and flow with softer textures and patterns and colors. But really, it's important to kind of just identify what your flavor of femininity is. It may be that it's a kind where you don't like to wear skirts. That's totally fine. Or you may like to wear more of the skirts, or you may not like patterns and you prefer solid colors. Whatever that is, it's really important to stay authentic to who that person is and stay connected with that. There are certain patterns that work really well. It's identifying the people that you resonate with. So who are your influences? Like I shared with you some of the people that I find really I admire, and I aspire to be a lot more like them and their style and how they express themselves. I'm drawn to really, really strong women. And so that is usually the type of inspiration I seek, but that's not going to be the same for you. So what are you drawn to? Finding what that influence is and seeing how did they express their femininity. There's probably some similarities there. I think the next one is really experiment fearlessly. Like, don't worry about what anybody else is thinking. If you need to do plenty of work of yourself, trying on different things in front of the mirror, yes, go do it. And there's nothing wrong with comfort. Comfort is really important because, like I've said before, trying to wear something just because you think it's in or that's the latest trend doesn't mean you're going to be comfortable. And if you're not comfortable, people are going to know and you're not going to be authentically yourself. It also gives you an opportunity to attract other like-minded women and create community as you tap into that femininity and allow yourself to be seen from a more authentic feminine place. And so how do you express that? And then how do you use that in all aspects of your life? It can be used in your business, absolutely. Because if you think about who you are most drawn to or who you want to attract in your life, it's going to be done by somebody feeling that connection with you. And very often connections are made visually first. So just thinking about that and how you're going to attract birds of a feather, the same kind of thing. Whoever you are, you're going to attract. Like we do that in all kinds of areas of our lives, relationships, business, and even when we're dropping off our kids to school, we are creating that connection, and it's going to be first done visually. What resonates the most with you? Is it a softer, more muted kind of style? Are there certain colors that you resonate more with? Are there patterns? Are there textures? Textures are really important to me. I love different textures, and I always love to have a balance of different textures. So be thinking about that. What is your personal brand of femininity, and how can we start tapping into that more so that you are feeling more and more authentic each day? So I'm going to leave that with you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.